first 4 minutes and 35 seconds are going to be clips of me finding out I'm pregnant, my husband, and my mom. I wasn't really sure how to include these clips, but I did want to include them because it's something that I cherish and I always want to be able to look back on, and I'm sure my family does as well. So.
Hi. Today is October 24th, and earlier today something told me to buy a pregnancy test. So I did. And I came home thinking nothing of it. I've taken some in the past and it came back negative, and so I just bought one thinking it was going to come back negative. And as soon as I peed on the stick, it came back positive. But me, I'm in complete denial, and so I went and bought 2 more to be safe, and I figured I would take them on camera because this will really confirm yes or no. So let's do this. Okay, so just in case, like I said, it's October 24th at 5:02 p.m. Just in case there's a little baby in here. I don't know yet. I'm waiting on the time to go down.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think you're pregnant. I think so.
What if you had to say anything, if there is a future baby there, what would you have to say to him or her?
I would say I'm happy. I can't wait till you're born, and I'm excited.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I told you.
This doesn't feel real though.
What happened to baby? I told you, babe. Children are a blessing. They're a gift from God. God loved us so much that he gave us a baby.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? I love you.
Never know, we're twins.
Baby Kimbro. Hi. It's October 30th and my mom is coming tonight, and I think probably tomorrow I'm going to tell her that she's gonna be an Oma, and I just wanted to show you guys what I whipped together, and I'll show you her reaction to either tonight or tomorrow whenever I do it. So it's kind of cute. I'm excited. Okay, so I just went to Hobby Lobby and bought a little box, and when you open it, it has like pink and blue paper, and then when you open it, it says hello Alma, and a miracle waiting to be seen, where she wanted you for a little ultrasound. I have a little card in there, and then our positive test. So I thought it would be super cute for her to open that, so yeah. All I told her is that I got her, my hair looks crazy. All I told her is that I got her like a shirt, and I thought it was really cute, and I thought she would like it. So she has absolutely no idea, but she does know she has a surprise, a shirt. So we'll see how she reacts. No way. For real? I love you.
You were sick,
I
man.
love you. Thank you. Okay. I'm definitely gonna cry.
cry. Okay, today is December 18th and it's been a day after my miscarriage. It was a very, at first, very happy moment, exciting and joyous, and then turned very fast for Carter and I, so we weren't comfortable with opening up so soon. I don't know when this video will be seen or if it will be seen, but I do want to make this, whether it be just for myself or to help other women. It's still very fresh, so I'm wanting to talk about it now because we have Christmas coming up and dinners and just a lot coming up in these next couple of weeks, couple of days, and I'd rather just tell my story now that it's fresh and before we have to see people. And before I start anything, I do want to say that if you're going through this, I'm really sorry. It's nothing that I would wish on anyone. It's very traumatic and very stressful and probably one of the hardest things I've gone through so far. So if you are going through this, I'm very sorry, and just know that you're gonna be okay. At the end of this, there is a light, and it may feel like you're in a really dark hole, but I promise you'll get out of it. But sorry. On October 24th, 2020, I got a very big positive pregnancy test. I was a couple of days late on my period. I used the app Glow to track my cycle, and at the time Carter and I weren't using protection. If anything, we told each other that what's meant to be is meant to be, so you could say we're actively trying for a baby. So on October 24th, I got a pregnancy test, and I came home and I took it, and it was positive. I mean, instantly, an instant positive. So many emotions came over me. I was very nervous, excited, and scared. I was very scared, actually. I've never been pregnant before. This would be my first pregnancy, my first child, and I was very nervous. I had all these thoughts of, am I going to be a good mom? And that's like the first thing that was running through my head, like, how am I going to take care of another human? I'm going to be responsible for another human being. And I feel like that was the first thing that I thought about, but I was also just so excited. Since I was a little girl, I've already had names picked out, and Carter and I, for some reason, it's so crazy, we were talking about boy names, because I already have girl names picked out since I was little. And I told Carter, I said, for some reason I'm feeling like I need to have names picked out. And so we started talking about boy names, and a couple of weeks later I got a pregnancy test. And it's also funny because the week before I was eating pickles and peanut butter, and I didn't think anything of it, and my husband was like, what are you doing? Are you pregnant? And I said, no, I'm not pregnant. And then sure enough, I'm a couple of days late on my period and we're pregnant. So at the time, crazy enough, two of my friends were actually pregnant at the same time, and we're actually just a couple of weeks apart, so that was really exciting. Talking about baby stuff and names and things to get and not to get. One of them, she's already had a couple of kids, but the other one, she was also a first-time mom, so she also had like the jitters and the nervousness just as I did. So that was really exciting to have. And my sister, she actually just had my nephew not too long ago, 4 months, and I really thought it would be really cool. Like, how cool would it be that cousins get to be so close in age and everything? And it was just an exciting time. On November 19th, we had our first ultrasound, and I had people told me mixed things like, oh, you don't get an ultrasound on your first visit, or you do, and so I was really nervous. I didn't know if I was going to get an ultrasound or not, and I actually was. They say they always do an ultrasound first just to see how far along you are, and I'm really glad that they actually did that. I was supposed to be exactly 8 weeks on this day. And we went back to get our ultrasound done, and the lady, I got ready for the sonogram. She tried it on my belly first, and she said, it kind of just looks like you're just too early. If you want, we can come back next week and do it again, or you can do the vaginal ultrasound. And of course I opted for the vaginal ultrasound. Something about myself is I'm a very anxious, very nervous person. I've always been told that I would probably be like the worst pregnant woman just because I hate needles, I hate pap smears, I hate going to the doctor, I hate everything about it. But in this time, I felt like I would do anything. So blood work, anything like that, I just didn't care. So I did do the vaginal ultrasound, and as soon as the little baby came up on the screen, Carter and I were really excited. But the ultrasound technician, she was very quiet. And she's like, I'm just looking, I'll let you know something when I know what I'm looking at. And we said, okay, you know, we were sitting there, and it felt like forever, but it was probably just a couple of minutes. And she measured it and everything, and she said, okay, there's no heartbeat, there's no, like, I can't find a heartbeat, there's no fetal tones, and the baby is measuring at 6 weeks, and the baby's supposed to be 8 weeks. I started crying and everything, and Carter, on the other hand, he was still very hopeful. He said that maybe it's just too early. He always thought that my dates were a little wrong anyways. So the next couple of weeks we came home, we prayed, and we just spent time together. We had a Thanksgiving dinner that weekend on the 21st, and we were actually going to announce our pregnancy to our families, but after that news, there's just no way we could do it. So we kept it a secret. November 25th, we went back for another ultrasound, and I had a different ultrasound technician. Her measurements were actually off by a week, and within this time we had read like a lot of articles about people being misdiagnosed with a miscarriage when there really wasn't. You could say we were probably in a lot of denial, but my pregnancy symptoms also started to slowly wear off. So that's when I started to realize, you know, maybe something is wrong, but a part of me still really wanted to hold on to that piece of hope, you know, that our baby was okay. But there was still no heartbeat. So even though she measured the baby a week like ahead of the other ultrasound technician, when we talked to our doctor, he said just the flick of the wrist can mismeasure a baby, because you're going by millimeters. Another thing was we had 2 really bad doctors, and the first experience with the sonographer was just really bad. I guess maybe she was just used to seeing this stuff all the time, but the way she handled it, in my opinion, just wasn't the way you should do it with a mom, especially one who's just finding out that she's going to miscarry. And I always thought that if that was the case, the doctor would actually come in. I've never actually heard of the sonographer telling you that themselves. I always heard that a doctor would actually come in and confirm it. So I don't know, that it didn't sit right with me. But I had no signs. I had no signs that I was going to miscarry. I wasn't bleeding. I wasn't cramping. None of that. Our third appointment was on December 9th. When we found out there was no heartbeat, it was on November 19th. We went on the 25th, and we went on December 9th, and I had a different doctor at all 3 visits. The first 2 doctors, I really just, we didn't like them, to say at the least. We had a different doctor on our 3rd visit. This doctor on December 9th, he actually ordered HCG levels, which we really wanted to get when we first found out, but they refused. I feel like it would have been a lot better if a doctor would have done that in the beginning. But a part of me always really just wanted to really let it happen naturally. So he ordered the HCG levels, and he also did, he tested our progesterone. Well, that Wednesday I had blood work, and then I came back on Friday. When we went back to the doctor on December 13th, my levels of HCG were 33,446, and they dropped down to 26,989. And at that point, I was supposed to be 11 weeks, and I think it should have been like in the 90,000s, I believe. So that really hit us. And then the progesterone was from an 8.3 to a 5.0, and that was also supposed to be a lot higher, so that really confirmed it. We had one last ultrasound, and it was with the woman that did our very first ultrasound, and she said that the fetal pole, the baby, was starting to deteriorate, and so was the sac. Which at that time on December 13th, so a couple of days before my initial appointment, I did start spotting dark brown. But the friends that I have who have had miscarriages in the past, they mentioned that it is normal. I think everybody was in disbelief and denial. So it wasn't just Carter and I, it was everybody that we had told. And I had a great support system. So I didn't think anything of the spotting, and it wasn't enough to even fill a panty liner. And it was like a really dark, like brown, and it was only when I wiped. So on my appointment for December 16th, we went back and he told us the levels of the HCG and the progesterone. Our baby was starting to deteriorate, only actually measuring 3.4 centimeters. So I mean, very, very tiny, and by this point you would see significant growth. And in addition to that, it was just starting to deteriorate, and then I had like the brown spotting. So at that point, after we saw the levels and we heard it from a doctor 3 times, we finally agreed that it was time. We really wanted to wait it out and try to wait for a natural miscarriage. That's really what we wanted. But unfortunately, at this point, my doctor was really concerned about infection, and I didn't want to put my body at risk. So my doctor gave us several different options, and we went with Cytotec, which the name brand that he prescribed me was Misotorol or something. I cannot pronounce it. I can put it on the screen. But he gave me that. He gave me pain medication, and he also gave me some nausea medication because the pain medication can cause nausea. So after we filled the prescriptions, we decided we would go out to eat one more time, kind of just prepare ourselves. I spent the day cleaning pretty much and prepping everything so that my husband would be able to take up some of the stuff that I do daily. And I'm glad he was home, because there's just so much I wouldn't have been able to do. We went to Cracker Barrel, and as we were waiting to be seated, I felt a gush, and I went to the bathroom and I started bleeding on my own. So that was kind of a little bit of a relief, because then I was like, okay, my body finally knows the process has started. At this point, the baby had been without a heartbeat for a little over 5 weeks and about 3 days. So And we did read that some women, it actually took around 5 weeks or so for the body to actually notice that the baby's no longer there. So even this is where a missed miscarriage comes in, because you're still feel like you're pregnant for a while, a couple of weeks, because your body is still producing hormones and stuff like that. So you'll still feel nausea, you'll feel some breast soreness, you'll still get a positive pregnancy test, of course. You'll still feel perfectly normal, like you're pregnant, because your body's letting off that hormone, but in reality your body just hasn't realized that the baby's no longer there. The baby no longer has a heartbeat. So sometimes it actually takes a while for your body to realize this. So I had already made the arrangements for the pills, and my doctor did recommend to continue to just take them. So the way the pills work is you take 3 every 3 hours. He recommended that I started at night so that maybe I could sleep through the first half of it. I'm gonna recommend don't do that. Start it first thing in the morning, because I was up all night. I guess it probably didn't help that I was already starting the process on my own. So I took my first dose at 11 o'clock at night, and I was already kind of crampy and really nervous. I was so nervous. I did not want to take the pills. I did not want to have to do anything that involved having to get rid of our baby. So even though I knew our baby was gone, the pills actually help to get rid of everything. So sometimes your body just can't get rid of everything, but I took my first dose of pills at 11 p.m. and around 12 I got up and I had really bad diarrhea. I'm talking, it's a side effect of the medicine, but I also don't think it helped that I was really nervous. So I had diarrhea probably for the next, I think it was like 2 hours. I was just up and down, up and down. So eventually I got out of bed and I went to lay on the couch and told Carter he can stay in the bedroom, you know, just get some sleep, because I was fine, you know. I felt like I was fine. 3 hours went by and it was 2 o'clock and it was time for me to take my second dose of pills. All of my pills were orally. I did request that as well, because I don't think there was any way that I could do it vaginally. So you can take the pills vaginally or you can take them orally, and then you also have the DNC. So I do want to say that we had the option to get a DNC, but since I wasn't really far along, we figured the pills would be fine. Usually you get a DNC if you're a lot further along, or if you're just if you don't want to go through that process of taking the pills. But the side effects of a DNC just didn't sit right with me, and I also wanted to avoid surgery as much as I could. I've watched tons of YouTube videos beforehand, and I just felt like a DNC wasn't an option for me. So we did take the pills. 2 o'clock came around and I took my second round of pills. By then I was definitely feeling some pain, so I did take a pain pill, and I went ahead and took a nausea pill. I'm that kind of person that if something has a chain reaction, I'm not going to wait for myself to feel a certain way. I'm just going to go ahead and take everything, so that way I can just not feel a certain way. So I took the pain pill, I took the nausea pill, and I laid back down on the couch. It was probably 30 minutes before 5 o'clock, and I got up and I had to use the restroom again. So I came in here, and then something like, I felt like I couldn't go lay back down. So Carter was laying in the bed and I was leaning over him. I was standing up and I was feeling so much pressure and pain in my like lower area. And I was like, okay, now I gotta go lay back down, you know? So I lay down, and all of a sudden I was in so much pain. I mean, the pain was almost so unbearable. I'm sorry. The pain just felt like something was just like gonna bust through my lower abdomen and my bum and my vagina, and just I was in so much pain that all I could do was lay there and just cry and like I've never made noises like this before, and Carter came in there and he started rubbing my back, and I had to force myself to take the last dose of pills, and at that time I also took another pain pill, which felt like it took forever to kick in because I was just laying there and you could just... It was just... I never want to have to go through that again. Finally the pain eased and I was able to sleep. From then on I took a pain pill for the next 4 hours. You take one every 4 hours, and I think I took one at 9, and I actually skipped the one at 1 p.m. so because the one I took at 9 actually helped me sleep through the rest of the morning. Carter and I just laid in bed together, and I was actually able to sleep. So but I was up all night. I would say that, I don't know if it's for everyone, but the dose between the second and the third one was the worst for me. It was excruciating, and not to mention the emotional part of all of it. Because I was so early, I really couldn't tell what was what, so, and between an upset stomach, at this point I was just so miserable. I pretty much lived in the bathroom for the first like 6 hours. The rest of the night was mainly just real crampy, and I had a really bad headache, and it was tolerable though. The pain was tolerable. I was able to go without a pain med for the rest of the evening, so I didn't take one at 1, and I was able to withstand the pain and pressure from the rest of the night. It's the next day now, so I am making this video the day after, just so everything's fresh. I don't forget any details or anything, and I can tell you how it was really raw. It's the next day when I first woke up, and you know, when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you have to do is use the restroom. The pain of emptying my bladder this morning was like, I could feel my bladder shrinking, and I knew that there was still urine in there, so even though I'm trying to like go, the pain was like I had to like grip on to the surrounding things around me, because it hurt so bad. And then standing up, I just had to call Carter, and he had to help me get up. I think that's just because, you know, the uterus is just trying to, you know, it went through all of that, and it's just trying to kind of go back to normal. So there is a little bit of pain today, but nothing to where like it was yesterday. There's still a lot of bleeding. When my doctor was describing a miscarriage, he pretty much said it was like a really bad period. And let me tell you something, since I started my period when I was younger, I've never had a bad period. I've always had a light period. Not a lot of pain or discomfort. So when I was going through this, I was like, there's no way, like, this is a really bad period. This is like pre-labor. So when you take the pills, it actually contracts your uterus. So it is kind of like you're giving freaking birth. And it was like the worst experience in my life. So I get why women would want to have an epidural. Definitely going to keep that in the back of my head. It's only the day after, so there probably is more updates. I don't go back to my doctor until Tuesday, where we'll do another ultrasound to make sure everything passed. A couple of things just to mention outside of it. Definitely make sure you have a support system, your husband, your wife, a significant other, anybody that can be there for you, because I feel like that was really important. I'm really glad that I didn't have to go through it alone, and that my husband was here with me. Also, women diapers. I know you're probably thinking, no way, but those are a lifesaver. Pads, I've just never liked pads. They slip around. Even when you get the wings, the back of it just does its own thing, and you're definitely gonna get, there's a lot of blood. So a grown adult diaper, it was like the best route for me. Also, make sure you put blankets or old towels or something down, dark blankets, just in case you do bleed through and you don't ruin your bedding. And make sure you put stuff down if you're going to be on the couch and stuff, and just, yeah. But there'll probably be a couple of more clips in here just to update you guys. I want to let you guys know everything, so I'll probably get back to you the day of my appointment. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. My main thing was making this video is because if I shared it, I feel like a lot of people need to hear it. I feel like there's not enough people that talk about it. 1 in 3 women go through a miscarriage. 85% of the time it's due to a chromosomal abnormality. The main thing my doctor stressed was that it wasn't my fault, and the hardest part is like the guilt and the blame, because you can't help but to feel like it is your fault, you know? On that day, was I doing something? Did I eat something? Did I strain myself too much? What was I doing on that day, you know? And it's a lot of guilt, a lot of questions that just can't be answered. And it's hard, and it can be very lonely. Even if you have people surrounding you, you're still very, very lonely, because nobody's gonna understand the pain that you're feeling. It doesn't matter if you're 6 weeks or 12, or it doesn't matter. When you lose a baby, you lose your baby, so it's really hard. And I just want you to know that you're not alone, and that's why I have to make a video, and why when I was looking for videos, I felt like they were just so comforting to just know that you're not alone, because a lot of women don't speak up about it, and that's okay. But I feel like even if it just helps one person feel like they're not alone, I feel like it would be worth it. And don't be scared to talk or to ask questions. I'm here, and I know there's probably plenty of other women that are here for you and family, because it can be a very dark time. So don't be scared to ask, especially your doctor. Don't be scared to ask for help, because beforehand I had depression. My doctor did ask me, like, if I haven't took medication in years, but they did ask me if I was interested in that, and if that's the case, you know, don't be scared to do that, okay? Probably gonna edit that out. But another really hard thing is when you're told that your baby doesn't have a heartbeat and you have to go back into the lobby and see all of the pregnant women. I feel like that was one of the hardest things, was to make us go and sit back in the lobby after such bad news. But I have hope that we'll have our rainbow baby. But that doesn't make you any less of our baby. The day that we found out we were pregnant with you, you were so loved from day one. Talk soon. It's now December 30th, and I just thought I would add this clip in to kind of update you guys and let you know how everything went and how I'm doing. On December 18th, I passed a big clot, which seemed to be the sac, and on December 20th, I passed the remainder of it. I had my appointment on December 22nd, and thankfully I had passed everything, so I needed no further attention medically. So that was good news, I guess. It's been 2 weeks since my initial miscarriage, and I'm still bleeding. I have dark brown spotting now, but it's getting better every day. Mentally, I'm pushing through. Each day is different. You have different waves of emotions, so, but if you're in this situation and you're going through it, I'm really sorry. We'll be thinking of you and praying for you. Just know you're not alone. It's a very hard process. And you'll make it through on the end. Bye, guys.